All right, all right, all right. Oh my gosh, we did it. We're live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. All right, tonight I am, the reason I'm running a few minutes behind is my phone kept shooting off the tripod over here for Instagram. But we're here. I made it. Caitlin, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. We've got Bishana, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Jamie, Mallory. Oh my gosh, so good to see you guys. Hi, hi, hi. We got Bambi. And hey, if you're coming in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, drop a comment. Let me know you're here. Good evening. Hey, so for those of you who were here last night, I am just really curious. Who did dream evaluation and did anything happen? So did you get anything? And Bambi, yes, I am speaking to you because I know specifically you were saying you hadn't been able to remember your dreams for a while. So I'm just curious if anything showed up for you. Hey, Mallory, so good to have you, sister. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm drinking coffee at 8:00 at night. It's that kind of night tonight. So yeah, for those of you who did any dream review, let me know what showed up. I practiced it myself last night, and I noticed that I had a dream that was like about buying. You guys have been kind of following the story of me wanting to buy a car for my husband. So I had a dream about that and it felt good. So I took that as like, oh, I'm in a good place about this, which was cool. Bambi saying no dreams. Valerie saying I did. And no, I didn't, but I'm going to do it again. Yeah, just keep trying, And Bambi's same. It's like, with this stuff, it's like anything. If you're working out for the first time or you're practicing sales for the first time, it's just practice. It's like getting your brain in that mode of doing something new, Hey, Matt. Hey, David. Caitlin saying hi. I didn't remember my dream last night, but I do remember waking up feeling pretty good. So that's positive. That's so positive. Yeah, I was thinking about you and the wedding dreams and everything last night. So that is really positive. That's awesome. Jan saying no dream either. All right. So we got a community of people here who are ready to dig deeper into the subconscious. Your dreams have so much good information for you. So, but you just keep doing it. And like the whole thing with this series and with what's going to help you drop the resistance to what you want is let it be easy. Let it be easy, let it be easy, let it be easy. So that pushing, forcing, like gripping energy, none of that here, because that's actually the thing that's blocking you from what you want. So just let it be easy. Bambi saying, I will have to keep at it. It has to come one day. Yes, exactly. And just like release it and let it happen and let it be easy. So I'm excited about tonight because we're going to be going through, I would say, one of like the signature Abraham Hicks processes to help you up your frequency, up your vibration, and drop resistance to what you want quickly and in regards to anything. So I really love this one. This is one like I've kind of practiced off and on, but I know there's a lot of diehard followers who like swear by this. So as I was prepping it for you tonight, I was like, oh, I need to get into doing this one more. So if you're new to the series, I see a lot of familiar faces here. So glad to have you. If you're new to the series, definitely go to elisearcher.com/resistance to get your free companion download that goes with this, because we're kind of seeing, okay, what process do we use depending on what emotion you're feeling at any given time, because the better you feel, the less resistance you have to what you want. So the whole point of this is we want you to move up that emotional scale so that you're feeling good and you're more of a match for the things you want to come in quicker and easier to you as well. So let's talk about when to use this one. So let me grab the book here for you guys, and we're going to get into it. This one's just fun too. So this is the 8th process, and it's called the Book of Positive Aspects. So if you've done this before too, because I know some of you who are joining along, like you've been an Abraham Hicks follower reader for a while, let me know. Have you done this? How did it work for you? Or is this a new one for you too? So here's when you use it. Three kind of scenarios. Number 1, when positive emotion floods through you in response to a positive thought you're focusing on, and you wish to ride the positive, good feeling wave longer. So I'll just do a quick pause there. One of the things that I've learned is when you feel good, milk it. Like when you feel good, you want to milk it. So you would use this process for that, because when you're feeling good, you're at that higher frequency. So the more you then focus in on that feeling and the things you're wanting to create in your life, the faster it'll happen, because you've got so little resistance to it. So this is about milking it when you're feeling good. The second time you would use it, when you're aware that a subject that requires your consistent attention does not feel good and you want to improve your vibration on that topic. So there are certain things that just part of like living life, we got to think about sometimes, sometimes a lot. Money, career, work, relationships. So if there's something that you can't, like the easiest thing to do when there's something you don't feel good about is, if as much as you can, like drop it and walk away from it, at least for as long as you can. But if you can't, then you would use this process to help you release some resistance to it. So this is really good for that. I coach a lot of women who are really healing their money journey. And so towards the beginning of that process, there can be more of a wobble with the money and the finances, where like any of the limiting beliefs you had or like past financial decisions like kind of rear their head at the beginning of the transformation of your journey. So this would be a good process to use for that. If you find yourself in that space, to help you get out of it faster. So it's really good for that. And then the third is when most subjects that you focus upon feel good to you, but there are a few uncomfortable holdouts that you want to mold into a better feeling place. So overall, like if you just want to get high vibe, guys, and you want to be just a good magnet for the things you want, this is a good process to use. So your emotional set point range that you would use is somewhere between peak emotions. So number 1, so that's your joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, and all the way down to number 10. So frustration, irritation, or impatience. So kind of like that borderline of like, I'm getting into more of like the suffering state. I'm not feeling as good. You would use this for anywhere from you're feeling good and you want to milk it down to I'm not feeling so good and I want to get out of a better, I want to get into a better place. Janine, oh my gosh, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. I didn't know you were here watching. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so let's talk about how you do this. So pretty simple. You're gonna get a notebook. So you're gonna get a notebook. Now I'm like kind of a girly girl with these things. So I like enjoy just like Papyrus has, if you like pretty stuff, Papyrus has good notebooks, but you can go to Staples and get a notebook, or Amazon. I don't care. Get yourself a notebook that you like is the most important thing. Make sure that you enjoy it. Make sure that you're going to look forward to writing in it. And then on the front of it, or like on the first page, you're going to write my book of positive aspects. So this is your book of positive aspects, and it's like your journal specifically for this. And then what you're going to do is, starting on the first day, you're going to block off about 20 minutes. Okay. So you're going to block off about 20 minutes the first day to start this process. And then what they say is, like, on subsequent days, you can do it for less time, but you may find that you feel so good while you do it that you want to block out more time. So start with that 20-minute or so time block, and then you'll add in, you'll figure out what feels good to you. So I'm just checking comments. Thank you, Jenny. Lee, let me give you some love, my friend. And by the way, I'm going to send you a DM. I got your message. I've been in meetings and then mom mode all this afternoon. I got your message. Know that I've got something coming for you. Okay. I'm so glad you're here. I was looking for you in the comments. I'm glad you're here tonight. Faye, I'm so glad you're here too. Oh my gosh, guys. Faye's my copywriter. She's like my funnel builder extraordinaire. So Faye, you're amazing. I'm so glad you're here. I love you. Okay. So Love Fest, we're going to pause the Love Fest because you guys are like, what do I do after I get this notebook? Okay. So you get your notebook, you block out your 20 minutes or so. And what you're going to do is, on the first page, you're going to open it up. And at the top of the page, you're going to write the name of someone that you really feel good about. So this could be your dog. This could be your cat. This could be the city you're from. It could be your significant other, like something that you feel good about. You're going to write the name of it or them at the top. And then what you're going to do is, you're just going to ask yourself, what do I like about you? What do I love about you? Why do I love you so much? What are your positive aspects? So you're thinking about that thing or that person that you appreciate, that you love, and then you're going to write out the positive things that you like about them or it. And you're just going to let it flow. So you're going to let it be easy. You're going to let it come naturally. But so it could be like I got my dog down here with me, my 16-year-old dog. And so if I put her name, Bailey, at the top of the page, it would be like, you've always been there with me. I enjoy our walks, even though now I walk her in a stroller. It's, I appreciate like how you're always there for me. So just stuff like that, like positive. The point is you want to focus on what makes you feel good. So the positive aspects about that thing. And then whenever it stops flowing, you just stop. So again, don't force it, let it be easy. And then you go back and you read what you wrote and you let yourself feel good reading what you wrote. Super simple, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to turn to the next page, unless you're already at the 20-minute mark. You're going to turn to the next page and you're going to write the name of something else that you like, that you love, that you appreciate. And you're just going to go down that list. And then what'll happen too is as you go and you like list out things, you're going to probably find more and more names. And if you think of more things you want to write, what you appreciate about, just go ahead and pre-fill more pages of your journal so that you can either complete them that same day or you can come back to them later. And it's really about just feeling, first of all, you're going to feel really good. So there's like 3 key benefits to doing this that are going to help you. Number 1 is you're going to feel wonderful. You're going to start to notice how wonderful you feel. And you guys are going to laugh at me like I'm such a sap, but if you've been following me for any amount of time, like, I'm a big Bob Proctor fan. And I was watching this new series that he's doing this morning. And I was watching it while I got ready. And I thought, this man is going to turn 87 in July. And he gets dressed up and he puts on a suit and he shows up in his home studio to teach me and other people how to better our lives. And I literally, like, this is where you're going to be like, oh my God, Elise, you're a total sap. I started crying with gratitude for Bob Proctor, like continuing to show up and do the thing when he could just be like, he doesn't need more money. He's lived an amazing life. But the fact that he still shows up and teaches and shares stuff that speaks to my heart and my soul so powerfully. Like if I was going to write a book of positive aspects, Bob Proctor would be on one of the pages, even though I don't know him, because as I thought about that gratitude for Bob, and I literally had these tears of gratitude show up for this man who's like, he doesn't know me, but he's influenced my life so much. I felt I was noticing resistance around some health stuff that's been happening for me. And I felt that dissipate in that moment. Because it was like my focus shifted. So that's part of the power of this, is that you can only focus on one thing at a time. And so if you're focusing on something negative and then you shift it and you start using this book of positive aspects, you can't feel that negativity. You can't feel that resistance. And whatever you focus on expands, right? So the things that you feel negative about, the things you feel resistance about, you want to pay them as little attention as possible, because they'll tend to take care of themselves when you can just increase your frequency, when you can focus on feeling good. So I don't know why that example showed up. That was a long tangent, but that was an example of like, you could have a page about someone or something you've never actually met, just someone who helps you feel good in the moment, someone who helps you think differently about your life. But what happens is you're going to end up feeling good. You're going to feel wonderful. And then that's going to permeate to everything else in your life. Again, the most important thing for you in achieving what you want is feeling good. Because the thing that you want is at a certain level, a certain frequency. And you, by feeling good, you start to match that frequency. So that's all we're doing here. We're just playing with energy. We're just having fun playing with energy, okay? But you need to feel good. You need to make it a key priority to feel good. That's your top priority whenever you're creating, if you want to create powerfully and not have to slog through the whole process like people do when they don't know these rules, okay? So you're going to feel wonderful. Number 2, you're going to activate this higher vibration in you that can actually become your dominant vibration over time. And oh my gosh, guys, I'm telling you, and I know because I've got some of my clients on here tonight, and I know just a lot of you have experienced this shift now where maybe anxiety used to be your dominant vibration and you're feeling more and more just good and wonderful throughout the day. And I never believed that was possible, even for myself, because my dominant vibration, my dominant practiced feeling for much of my life was anxiety. And I didn't know there could be anything different. But by intentionally practicing this, and you've got to be fierce about it too, because it's important and it's not going to be what your brain naturally does. So you're going to have to, it may be a bit of forcing at the beginning, but it's worth it. By practicing feeling good over and over and over again, it becomes your new set point. It is a rare day that I have a lot of negative feelings these days. And because of that, what I want comes in pretty freely and easily. And if, as I say that, that's not your current reality, it can absolutely be your reality when you use these practices. There's nothing different about me, nothing special. I just started doing these things I'm teaching you, and they work, guys, they work. But it can become your natural set point. You can have a natural, emotional, positive set point, which draws in everything you want and makes it easy for you. But it takes that practice, okay? And it's all you're doing is you're rewiring neural pathways and you're teaching your body something new. So what can happen too is if your natural emotional state is anything less than positive, then what can happen is very simply your body gets addicted to those emotions. So if you've been living in emotions of fear, scarcity, anxiety, like if you're looking at your guide, that emotional guidance scale, and again, if you're joining right now, you can get it at elisearcher.com/resistance. It's totally free. It goes with this. But if you're looking at that scale and you're like on the lower end of the scale and you're like, that's where I kind of naturally am, it's simply because you've conditioned your body. That's it. And I noticed when I was first like really getting fierce about shifting my own vibration, my own emotions, I would wake up sometimes in anxiety and it was like nothing had changed and nothing had shifted or happened. But then when I found out, oh, your body's just addicted to the cortisol, that's it. And it just takes, it can just take a little bit of time to get it addicted to feeling good. But when you keep coming back to this and keep practicing dropping that resistance sooner and keep practicing feeling good and do practices like this book of positive aspects, over time, it becomes like, you guys tell me, some of you who are my clients on here, yes, I'm calling you out, Caitlin, if you're still on here, because I know we had this conversation earlier this week. Like, does this not work, right? As you practice this again and again, it becomes more natural for you and it becomes more your set point. And when it first happens, you're almost like, this is too good to be true. Like, it can't be this easy. There's really this whole time, it was actually this easy. Yes, it was. But you just didn't know. You did the best with what you had and you didn't know. And now you know. And now you're learning something new. But it is so important to train your body to feel good, to be in that state of gratitude no matter what, because then you become a match for more things to feel grateful for. Caitlin's saying, yes, it absolutely does. Yes, right? And it is so possible. It is so possible for you. And it's amazing. And then when you realize it, like, you're even more grateful. I'm grateful these days just for how I feel. Like, it doesn't matter the money, the opportunities, the clients. Yes, I love that. And I'm grateful for that. But it's like, you feel so good when you start practicing these things. And you have to remember, guys, like anything you want, it's because of how you think it's going to make you feel. That's the only reason you want it. The reason you want more money is because you think it's going to make you feel more free. The reason you want to travel is because you think it's going to make you feel expansive and creative. You can feel those things right now by practicing that, by doing this practice of noticing what's working, noticing what's good, writing down the positive aspects of it. And then you become a match for the travel, for the money, for the things to come in faster and easier. And what we're doing here, guys, and this is where it's so exciting, is we're playing by different rules than what most of the world plays by. Because what we're doing is we're leveraging quantum physics. We're leveraging energy. We're leveraging new science to create different results better and faster. And so this stuff works. It is real. And you don't have to slog through life. You don't have to slog through the money making, the client acquisition. When you learn how to just become a match energetically and vibrationally for the things you want, they must come to you. It's the Albert Einstein quote, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the thing you want, and it must come into your reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is science. That's all we're doing here, is we're using science. Okay? So it's so fun. Hey, James, I'm so glad you're here. How are you? And hey, Allison, I saw you hopped on Instagram. So much love to you, sister. I'm glad you're here. So benefits. You're going to feel wonderful. Number two, you're going to activate a higher vibration that can become your dominant vibration over time. And then everything you want comes to you faster and easier. That's where we get the quantum leap, guys. That's where like, oh, I get jazzed about this stuff. Because if you're looking for a quantum leap in your life and you're like, I'm here, but I want to be here and I don't want it to take the amount of time I hear it normally takes, you can do this today. You can do this right now and watch if better things don't start flowing in faster for you. And in the meantime, enjoy feeling good. Like, you know, those things are on their way to you because you just feel so damn good in the moment that you actually stop caring if they come. That's it. I've got a client right now, a beautiful client in Norway, and she's having the same experiences that I had before I had my financial quantum leap, where it's like not a lot has changed yet in her outer reality, but she took the plunge. She said yes to coaching. She signed up and she's doing a lot of this mindset work. And she's like, she just feels so grateful. She's crying tears of gratitude in the morning for how she feels. And I can tell when I talk with her, like, oh my gosh, something really big is about to come for you. Now, you don't get to know when or where or how. That's not your business. But when you're in that state, it's, oh my gosh, just let the blessings flow to you. Let the good come to you. It's incredible. Lisa, I just wish you could be more enthusiastic. I know. I should try to like pump it up a little bit for you guys, right? I'll try to let you know more next time how I feel about this. And then number three, the other benefit, the third benefit. Oh, this is good. I like this. Your relationship with everything you're writing about will become richer and more satisfying, and more good will flow to you in that arena. And then more good things like that will come. And I love that too, right? Because if you think about, Wayne Dyer had a really great quote where he said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I'll say it again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is so true. You know, what's an example? I used to be in a lot of fear and anxiety around money, you know, and I wouldn't want to look at my bank account because I would be afraid that I would look at it and it would all be gone. And so because of that, I would have this like up and down, this real fear and anxiety around money. I don't know if any, like, feel free to pop in the chat if that's been part of your journey. But when I learned what money actually is, and that it's just energy, and that as I bless and praise the money I have and love it, just like it was a relationship with somebody, that it multiplies, I started to look at the money differently in my bank account. And nothing had changed with the amount of money. It wasn't like I was suddenly like I had money to go buy a yacht. Like, it was about the same amount of money as had been in there before, but it felt different. It started to feel more expansive. I started to feel more grateful for it. James is saying, I've been there. Yeah, a lot of us have been there, right? And I appreciate you sharing that. And then, like, when I started feeling more grateful for what was there, even though it wasn't like this copious amount of money, more started to come in and more started to come in and more started to come in because I was at a different energy with it. So it's really important that we notice if there's something that's not working in your life. It's all about how you're looking at it. So you got to look at yourself and say, how am I looking at this? Because everything's just a mirror. Everything that goes for people, for situations, all of it. And you got to look at how you're looking at it. But what's great about this process is that it will elevate your relationship with everything in your life. And I've experienced this in relationships, you know, with people who used to trigger me. And then I myself changed and I noticed they no longer triggered me. Now nothing changed about them, but I changed. And if total side note, if someone triggers you, there's something in them that's in you that you're seeing a mirror of and you don't like. That's all it is. That's all it is. And so that can be like a real, seriously, like, I'm responsible for all of this. Yes, you're responsible for all of it. But the good news is, you can change anything. Like, you can change whatever you want. So that's a bit of a tangent, but what I'll come back to here is your relationship with everything you write about will become richer and more satisfying. And then more of that will flow into your life. So just think about it like what you appreciate appreciates. Okay. What you appreciate appreciates, whether it's your money, whether it's a relationship. And so just think about if you were writing a list of 10 things that you appreciated about a certain person or about a certain situation in your life. Think about the next time you talked with them, like you would look at them differently. You would feel more gratitude. They're going to feel that, and you're going to get a different response from them. It's so simple, but so beautiful. I'm just checking comments. Janine saying, talking about money, it's called currency because it's energy. Yes. James, yes, bingo. That's how you can tell you're leveling up in a healthy mindset. Exactly. And we have to take full ownership of everything and our response to everything. But then when you realize that you can create whatever you want with your relationships, with your dynamics of them by shifting your viewpoint, it's so empowering. I'm just checking comments over here on Instagram. Bambi saying, I always need to be in control with money, keeping all receipts and accounting for each dime. Now I throw away the receipts and don't do this. It really helps me to think about money differently. Yes. Yeah. And Bambi, that, thank you for sharing that. The way that I learned to think about money that was really helpful was to think about it like a relationship with a human. And even like writing a letter to money. And this is something Jen Sincero teaches, and You're a Badass at Making Money. Such a good exercise. But if you have any amount of fear or anxiety around money, write a letter to it as if it was a person and tell it how you feel about it. And my letter, even just a couple of years ago, or even a year ago to some extent, would have been like, I really like you. I think you're awesome. I love it when you're here. I'm really scared you're going to go away though. And I never know how often you're going to be here, or how much of you there's going to be. And I'm afraid that I'm not good enough for you. So I'm afraid you're going to leave. And so just get it out on paper and then look at it and think about, oh my God, if this was a relationship with a person, like, would they want any of that? Of course not. So why would they want to come around me? And that's all it is. And you can write that letter to anything. You know, I was doing a training with some women in my program earlier this week on reconnecting with their feminine energy, because as women in business, a lot of times we shut that bad boy off and say, well, I'm not safe bringing that into the workplace. And so I had them write a letter to their feminine energy. And some of you who were here tonight were on that training. And I think from what you shared, it was pretty powerful to just write to it as if it was a person and realize, like, where were you really inviting it in? And then where were you pushing it off by your resistance to it? So getting it out of your head and onto paper and writing to anything as if it was a relationship will show you where you're at in relationship to it. And then you just think about, okay, if I wanted more of this thing in my life, how would I speak to it? Right? Like with money, for example, this is how I talk to money now. Oh my gosh, I love you. Come on, like, let's hang out, bring your friends, let's chill together. I'm so excited to have you here. You're so amazing. Thank you so much for how you enhance my life. I love that we can do so many cool things together. And if you're talking to a friend or a person like that, like, they'd want to be around you, right? And that's genuinely how I feel. So get it out on paper and see the relationship dynamics, and then you can kind of see what needs to be healed. Caitlin's saying, I love when you share that you think the money that needs to go out to pay bills, and then you picture it coming back to you multiplied. Yes. Okay, so we'll take a moment on that because that's important. You're saying it's been so helpful for me to let go of my need to control. Yes. So I love that we're talking about money tonight. This is one of my favorite topics to speak about. Because you need money, like, to live an abundant life, you need money. It just is what it is. And you need a fair amount of it. Like, let's just call it what it is. You need a lot of money to live an abundant life. And if that triggers you, then there's some sort of money wounding, and you get to heal that, my friend. And there's no judgment on it, but here we are. So come heal. So a great practice that Caitlin's mentioning here is, if you're in anxiety when you pay your bills, which I used to be massively in anxiety, when you get the bills, there's a few things you can do that will really help. But one is look at the number, tack on some zeros to the end, and picture it as a check that's coming into you. So picture it like, let's say you've got a $100 bill you're paying, add a zero, and imagine it's $1,000 check coming to you, and feel that gratitude. The other thing is, think about, like, when you're paying your bills, remember that there's actual humans on the other end. There's actual people on the other end of that who you're blessing with that money. So we have to remember that we're all connected and we're all in flow together. And it's a give and take. It's a give and take. It's a give and take. And if you're all like take, it's just like breathing. If you just kept sucking in air and sucking in air and sucking in air and you never exhaled, you would die. So it's the same. It's the exact same. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. It's just learning to look at how nature operates and realizing that when we can apply the same principles to our resources, to our relationships, everything flows much easier. It's flow. That's what this is. But so those practices, so when you remember that there's somebody on the other end and you imagine them receiving that money, and then I like to think about like them, buying dinner for their family that night, or paying for a new outfit for their child, or, something that's like blessing their life and blessing their family, then think about the different energy you have around that money and around the giving out of it. So it is important that when you pay your bills and when you give, that you're in that state of gratitude. Now that may not come, you may not be in like massive tears of gratitude about getting to pay bills right away, and that's okay, but try to like edge up the gratitude every time you do it. And you'll get to the point where money flows so naturally and so easily to and through you and back through you. And it always comes back multiplied. And it's incredible and so much fun. And it works. Just try it. Like it works. James is saying, once you're aware of that money language and energy, you can look at your messaging in business and see the correlation. Yes. And that's why I love, like, I don't know if Faye's still on right now, my copywriter, but I'm really mindful of just even language and words around like what I sell helps people with money. But I'm not big on like creating false scarcity or fear or like using language that puts people in panic, because I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong, and that energy comes back to you. So I don't know if that's exactly what you were saying, James, but that's what comes to mind for me. So that's really it, guys. And my baby monitor's about to die. So unless, sweetheart, are you there? Yeah. Would you be able to bring the charger in, please, for the monitor? Thank you so much. Okay. So I would love an abundance of electricity right now. Shout out to Jason, guys. He's saving the day. So, okay, I have time to then read you. I thought this was a really good little story they give in here, and then we'll wrap up for the night. And if you guys have questions, pop them in the comments. I love you guys. I love getting to have these conversations. This is so fun. So thank you for being here. Where is this? Okay. So we'll talk just a little bit more about why this is important. And this is so helpful to shift your focus. So what they say, just a few paragraphs. Imagine a beautiful city, not a big city, but a perfect city. The traffic flows nicely. There are beautiful points of interest. Living and working in this city is a wonderful experience. As you think about this city, as we've described it to you, you may be thinking, I could live there happily ever after. Oh, but there's one little thing we forgot to mention. There is a very deep pothole on 6th Avenue. All right. Now, if we were to focus on the positive aspects of this city, it is our expectation that if you were to live in the city, you would live happily ever after. Most people have not been introduced to their life by someone who is pointing out the positive aspects of it. Instead, most have been introduced more often by someone saying, watch out for the pothole on 6th Avenue. And so, because of the negative orientation that surrounds them, most are consumed by the pothole. Let us say that someone has been declared terminally ill. Her doctor has given her a death sentence. And yet the majority of her, thank you, sweetheart, the majority of her body, over 99% of it, is as this magical city. It is functioning well. All the arteries of traffic are working very well. It is just that because of the attention the doctor has given it, she is now giving her full attention to the pothole until it will eventually consume her city. So guys, really good, right? And so what they say is remove your attention from the city's potholes. As I focus upon what I want, I feel good. If I focus upon lack of what I want, I will feel bad. So isn't it easy to focus on the pothole when you're actually living in a beautiful city and everything's really amazing? Right? There may be this one thing, like I've trained myself to do this with health stuff I go through, or with, relationships even. Like we can get so hung up on so-and-so does this one thing that drives me crazy. But if you actually think about it, you're allowing your attention to go there. And if you thought about everything that they did that didn't drive you crazy and instead that you really appreciated about them, you wouldn't even notice the thing that drove you crazy. So it's that level of self-awareness and self-discipline around what you allow yourself to focus your attention on. And this practice tonight that we talked about, keeping your book of positive aspects, is going to help you shift your attention to what's working. It's going to help you shift your attention to what's good. It's going to help you shift your attention to what you're grateful for, which in turn will bring more of that into your experience. But it always starts here. It always starts inside first. You cannot wait for the things around you to shift for you to feel differently. You must start to feel differently first. And that's by disciplining your mind and disciplining what you focus on. Okay, guys? That's what I got for you tonight. I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any final questions or comments, pop them in the chat now as we go. And I mentioned this last week, but if you guys are interested, so I am going to be hosting a workshop on how to turn your annual income into your monthly income. I don't have a date yet. It's going to be sometime probably in the next month-ish. But DM me if you're interested. It will be a paid workshop, but it'll be under $300 probably. And it's going to be a half-day intensive where I work with you on like the exact steps I took to do it and how it happened so fast and how you can do the same. So just send me a DM if you want information on that, on how to register when it's live. And then aside from that, James is saying you always have a choice on how you want to feel. Yes, 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 yes. This is the biggest shift. Like, I wish this is what was taught in school, because I think this is the key to unlocking your most rich, beautiful life, is knowing that you create your life experience by what you think about and what you feel. And if you want to shift something in your experience, just start thinking about what you want and feeling gratitude for that thing even before it comes, feeling gratitude for what's good in your life using this type of practice. And you'll have some pretty incredible transformations in your physical experience. So yeah, really good. Anything else? Lee, if you're still here, did I do okay for you tonight? Was I enthusiastic enough for you? I love you guys. I love getting to like build friendships with you, even though I've never met some of you. It's really fun. And I'm really grateful for that. Over here on Instagram, any questions, any comments? Bambi's saying, LOL, Jason, abundance overfloweth. Yes, abundance overfloweth. And guys, I'll just say too, like if you're wanting to be abundant, but you're not feeling abundant yet, start to just notice and look around you at all the things that are abundant. Everything from if you took a shower this morning, like the abundance of the water that came down on you. Water is the most precious resource on earth, and notice how abundant you are. Look outside, look at blades of grass and notice the abundance. Like, can you even count them? No. Can you count the raindrops in a rainstorm? Can you count, it's a bad analogy in the South, but like, can you count the snowflakes in a snowstorm? No, like nature is abundant. You are part of nature. You are abundant. So if you got to look for evidence, if you're not seeing it in your bank account yet, and that's okay, but you need to start noticing the abundance around you first. Just notice that, notice little things like that. And then you'll start to see that those shifts come in your finances as well. Oh, James, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I love that you're here. It's really, really wonderful to have you here. Thank you. All right, guys, I love you. Gonna go sign off for the night. Thank you for showing up. Oh, so this is the last one for this week. Next Monday, we'll be back with more. Have a beautiful weekend. Send me a DM if you have any questions or if you want information on how to register for that workshop. And wishing you all a beautiful night. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.